Alright y'all, we're back with another one, and I know it's been a while since I've put out a video.
I got COVID.
And I had an extremely bad reaction to it. And I was out of commission for like 3 weeks. Had all kinds of mental stuff, brain swelling. It was bad. It was way worse than the stuff you hear on the news where they're like, oh, it's just a common cold. And I guess maybe for some people, yeah, but man, it sucked. But anyway, we're going to be working on this today. Putting a new shelf right across the top of that. I can't do that with my finger. Anyway, the shelf is about right there. The one I got, it broke. So that's what we're doing today. Go ahead and get this bad boy opened up. There it is. And this board right here normally goes across right here. It hooks up. It just sets on this angle iron. And I usually put these winches up there, or not winches, ratchets. I usually put those ratchets up there on top and keep these tarps on the bottom, because these toolboxes, a lot of people only use the bottom half of it, and then everything up above that is just space. Because these are, you know, these are good for vertical storage, but vertical storage, you know, you need shelves. You need at least a shelf there for you know, usually, unless you got stuff that's really tall that's going in there. Alright, and unfortunately this board just won't come out of here, because you can try to twist it, it just won't come. Reason for that is I put the board up there first, and then I put the angle iron underneath it. So we got to take the angle iron loose anyway, and the best side to do that from is this side, because you know, we got the door and everything over here. So we'll just take this piece loose, and that'll drop down, and then the new piece will definitely be thicker than this, and we'll just do the reverse. We'll put it back up in there. We'll just put some screws through the angle iron up into the board. That way it's, you know, not doing that. Alright, so now we need to go get a ratchet and a pair of vice grips. Take these 2 bolts loose. I'm guessing that is 9/16, I'm thinking, maybe. Alright, we got my socket set here. Normally I'm cussing this curb, sitting here right in the way of my tires when I'm trying to change them. But today it's a place to sit. Curb, today you are my friend. Anyway, let's see what size that is. I'm thinking it's 9/16. And I was wrong. Damn it. It's 1/2 inch. Yeah, it's 1/2 inch. Whatever. God! It's too early to be pissed. That hurt. Alright, we got those bolts loose, and time to take this off of here. Remember, it went, we'll just leave it down here. That way we know that's how it goes back on. Now let's see if this, there we go, see. Now and get it on out of here. There we go. Now we gotta measure. We gotta measure, obviously, side to side, back to front. So let's go ahead and get that side to side. And if you didn't know, I didn't know up until recently, these tape measures have this stupid phone would zoom in right there. Yeah, there we go. These tape measures right there at the bottom, at least this one does. This is a Stanley. That tells you how wide that tape measure is. 3 1/4 inch. So that way we don't have to try to bend, you know, we don't have to try to go across with this thing and bend it, and you know, it's not really that accurate that way. All right, so let's go across with this thing, and we're gonna do the front and back. So that shows 28 1/2. So if my math is correct, 28 1/2 plus 3 1/4, 29 1/2, 30 1/2, 31 1/2, 31 3/4. And now, just for good measure, pun intended, we're going to go ahead and do the back to make sure it's the same as the front, because these boxes, they get all warped and out of shape. We're about the same, 28 1/2. So our final measurement, what was it? 29, 30, 30, 31 3/4. And so that basically means we're not going to do 31 3/4 exactly, because that's too tight for this box. We're going to do probably 31 1/2. That way we got about, you know, we got 1/8 of an inch of wiggle room on each side of this this box. Now we're going to do back to front, both sides. So we got right at, we'll just say 16 1/2. I think 16 1/2 would be a good cut to where it's not binding up and we don't have to go and make 3 trips to the house, keep cutting. And the other side, yeah, 16 1/2 will work over here too. So 16 1/2 by 31 1/2. That's what our measurements are going to be. All right, we're back at the house, and unfortunately everything we have is too small or too thin. That's a good thickness to double up. What is that, like, I don't know, 5/8 or something? Could double that up, but it's just not big enough. That's way too thin. I'm not going to double that up. Hell, I'd have to triple that up. And this is all way too thin too, so off to Lowe's we go, I guess. Well, we're over here where all the plywood is, and we got all these different thicknesses here, different material. You know, we got oak, we got pine. If I went with something, it'd probably be something like this right here, this 3/4 inch. But I don't know, I got too many options here. This stuff is known to splinter, so I'm not a huge fan of it. I also saw this decking stuff, this whatever it's made out of, this composite stuff, seems to be pretty strong. I don't know enough about it, and it's too expensive for me. So we're just going to go with something that I know will work. We're going to get a couple 2x8s. I know my depth is 16 1/2 inches, so two 2x8s. Well, these aren't truly dimensional though. We'll have to go with like a 2x8 and a 2x10 maybe. We'll figure it out. This will show you how much you're getting screwed on this stuff. See, this right here says it's a 2x8 by 16. Yeah, well, look at this. More like 7 inches by not even 1 1/2. You get 1 3/8. I mean, that's just terrible. See, and they put actual 1 1/2 by 7.25. Even the actual isn't accurate. Alright, since these aren't anywhere close to what they say they are, we're going to have to go with a 2x10x8. This is the only thing that's accurate with these, and that's the length. 8 feet. Yeah, that looks like a good straight piece. Pretty even down the side. Check for splinters on the ends. Nothing on that end. I think this is going to be our board. Alright, we are good to go. Get back home, get this former tree here, get her all cut up, and we'll have a little bit left over, you know. Alright, we're back at the house here, and we're going to go ahead and make our marks. Can't talk. I believe it was 31.5. So then we'll mark it on the other side too. Alright, we're about to make this cut, and if you want to make a real good cut, a real good clean straight cut without having to go out and buy, you know, some real high dollar fancy saw, or you know, a chop saw or something, this is what you can do. This is the piece that's going to be cut off, and this piece will stay here. So whenever you cut it, be sure you always put the heavy end of the saw on the piece that's staying where it's at, because you don't want the saw falling with this piece. So put it like this. But what I do is I line up that blade about where it's going to cut at, and then I'll grab this straight edge here and we'll just move it right over to where it needs to be. This is where it needs to be for this side. See how far that is from the line? 1.5 inches. There's 1.5 inches on the other side. Now we can go ahead and make our cut. Alright, well that made a pretty good clean cut. I ain't gonna lie, I don't do it that way very often. But I figured I would give it a shot, you know, just to see if it was gonna work. And it did. Let's make sure our measurements are good. 31.5. Yeah, right where we need to be. Perfect. Well, here's another little trick that just for this project I'm doing. This is the side I just cut on, so it's got a, you know, it's got a cut from a skill saw on it, you know. Not the best cut in the world, but decent. But this end, this is a machine cut. So we could, our next piece could be off of this end, and then we'll be left with the piece in the middle. So that's what we're gonna do. Well, I think we're about ready to cut, and just because these two pieces are almost the same length, so you know, you might get confused. You might not remember which one is which, you know. So I just put stuff like this on there, you know, that way you know this is the side you're cutting on, and this is your leftover piece. All right, we got the second piece cut. This one we just cut it without putting a piece of metal out there, just kind of free-handed it. Yeah, it didn't come out perfect, but that side, at least one side did. But that just goes to show you that the other method works a lot better. It is slower though, I will say that. All right, last cut we need to make is with the chop saw, or you can make it with the hand saw too if you want. But I really don't want to make that cut. It's not going to be very clean. And I don't know why they didn't make some wheels or something on this damn thing so you could move it around, because this bastard's heavy. But you know, get you one of these little carts, move it around real good. All right, so our total width, 16 and a half. So that means we'll measure 8 1/4 for this one, 8 1/4 for the other. And I like to have straight cuts on both sides, so we'll make a little cut on this side and then we'll measure off of that. And something very important I forgot to mention. I wanted to make sure that the cut I made was on the good side, because I'm going to cut more off this other side, and you can see the other side has a real bad knot there. So we'll definitely cut a little bit more out of that other side, get that knot cut out of there. So you always want to make sure whatever side you cut on that you're taking the least amount off of is going to be your best side. You know, whatever amount you're taking the most off of, that's going to be your bad side. All right, well, we got her set at 8 1/4. You can see. And then you always want to make sure you're at 8 1/4 on the other side too, because this thing right here sometimes is crooked. We got first board cut, and I should have allowed a little more room, because sometimes the boards move around while you're pushing them, because you can see right here didn't come out to 8 1/4 exactly. Other side, it's more like 8. Damn it, 8 1/8. So the next one the next one we're gonna have to do 8 1/4 plus another 8 3/8. But you know, this table saw isn't like professional grade, and neither am I. So anyway, let's get on this next one. Well, there goes the tornado sirens. Reminds me of Solo every time. Alright, let's see where we're at. Should be 8 3/8. Perfect. Yeah, that one's good. I mean, not perfect, but it is what it is. Alright, I think we're ready to go back up to the truck. Before we go there, I want to make sure I have everything so I don't have to make 3 more trips back here. And definitely need some drill bits, because I'm going to try to make some, you know, pilot holes so I can put the screws in there without splitting it. Drill gonna need our chuck so we can use the drill bits. And then for our screws, I don't know, I think we're going to use something like this, but the only problem is that these will just go right through those holes on the angle iron. So we're going to need some kind of fender washer, which these are way too big. Be hitting on the side of the toolbox probably, and all these other ones are too small, so we'll just take these with us and go up to Tractor Supply. All right, we are over here at Tractor Supply, and we're going to take one of these little screws in here. Maybe we can find a washer for it. And you know, I know these do say on here, well, they don't say on the box, but they are, I believe, sheet metal screws. And you know, there might be some people who are like, I can't believe you're using that for wood. How dare you? You know, that's ridiculous. Because these work, you know, they're threaded just like a wood screw. And it's nice that they got that little flat head on there too, unlike a wood screw. So anyway, I've used them a million times. If you got a problem with it, I don't know. I don't. It's a weird thing. It's a weird thing to even bring up in the first place, you know. When you really think about it, it's a weird thing for somebody to get upset about. But you know, that's the world we live in. Well, here's the crap that we're working with, and what is this stuff called? Slot. So just slotted angle, and this is my screw. Kaboom! And as you can see, it just goes. You know, it just goes right through the holes. So what we got here is some fender washers. Boom. And that's plenty big enough. Perfect. All right, we're back to the box, and we're gonna put these boards up here, make sure they fit before we do anything, because you never know, my measurements might have been off. You never know. Jesus, get in there. There's one. And I accidentally left one of the curved ends on one of those boards, so we're going to put the curved end on the outside. Oh, great. Might have made him too wide. Well, it ended up being too wide somehow. I don't know how that happened, but it did. So we gotta go back to the house and cut off a little bit more. But you know, it's always better to have too much than it is to have too little when it comes to wood. That's what she said. You knew that was coming. Yeah, you knew that was coming. Well, I just was sitting here thinking about, like, how did that happen, you know? And I think I just realized it. I only made one cut on that board, and that was it. I don't know why I did that, but I just made one cut, and then I should have noticed that when I saw that one side hadn't been cut on. Like, duh. Man, I think COVID made me destroyed some of my brain cells or something. But anyway, we'll get it cut now. Well, we made it back over here to the truck. Of course, I ran out of shade, so that's nice. It's 100 degrees again. Well, she fits. fits in there real good. So now we're just gonna put this piece of angle iron back up in there, and then we're just gonna screw it back in, call it good, head home, and do nothing the rest of the day. Oh, come on. Come on, seriously? This is stupid. Crap just disappearing. Jeez. Alright. Kaboom. That went way better than I thought it was. I mean, except for that first part there, which was some bullshit. All right, well, we went ahead and put our ratchets up there, you know, because I'm impatient like that. And man, they fit in there. They fit in there nice. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You know, that's about all I really need. And so now all we got to do is put those screws up in there, and we'd be good to go. Alright, I think we found a good drill bit. You know, it won't waller out the hole so much that the screw won't be able to grab. I think that's about right. We'll test it out. We'll do a pilot hole and then put one of these screws up in there, and we'll see how it works. Gotta remember the washer, duh, you know. Alright, now, seemed like it was a good fit though. Oh yeah, that's the good stuff right there, man. Can't get too far ahead of myself. I won't remember where I drilled the holes at, because you know I got short-term memory loss. Oh yeah, it's nice when everything comes together. It really is. It's a thing of beauty. That'll work. Good enough. And the nice thing about that is these boards, now I could stick down here at the bottom and it'll give me a little bit of a lip, because these damn tarps here keep wanting to kick out, and they're rubbing all over the door, kicking it out. So hopefully this will keep them from doing that. You know, the more insulation you can have on these toolboxes, the better. Insulation, not meaning to keep in warm air or cold air, meaning to just to protect the box, because all that rubbing and stuff, like right there, and that rubbing will really wear it down over time, and before long it'll go all the way through. So especially on the bottom here, I try to protect it as best I can. Crap like this down here, it'll help out tremendously with getting more life out of this toolbox. Now that's a good tight fit. That looks good. They're not going to be leaning and trying to kick out there at the bottom anymore. Well, you know. Anyway, that looks fantastic. That looks a million times better than it did before. Well, enough of this patting myself on the back. It's time to clean up all this crap and get the hell out of here. All right, everybody, that's it. It's hot out here, and hey, don't forget to subscribe to this educational channel. And like, and you know, if you do subscribe to this channel, you'll get to have a little rat ride with you on your next trip, like I just did. Little adorable little rat. He was all right. He jumped off when we got to where we were going.